G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. It's good to be back styling trees again for you. I have this little Shimpaku juniper that belongs to a client. Here's my scissors, just to give you an idea of scale. It's a lovely little old one, it's not too bad, it's pretty good. This is the pot it's in at the moment, this is the angle that's been planted in at the moment. Some of the features, or some of the issues, some of the characteristics are some of these branches. This is pretty straight, this is pretty straight. That's pretty straight, 90-degree angle, doesn't look the best there. What are we going to do with it? I was tossing up some ideas about this tree, but let's talk through the process. Now, for me, I talk about trees, what's the best features, what's the things you want to hide, etc. and so on. So really, the nice trunk movement, some nice branching, but it's all pretty straight and upright. I could change angle and put it more of an upright tree. It's so small, it doesn't, I don't think it will appeal to being an upright tree. It'd be a lot of needing to bend things and move things around. The other side isn't as good as this side. It's got this is really nice movement. Even though that goes up, we can do something about it. This bit is too horizontal for me. See how it's very 90-degree angle and very horizontal to the ground? So that's one of the main issues I've got. So I want to fix that. My idea is to actually keep, I like the slantiness of this. I don't like the upright part. If it's going to slant, it needs to continue that direction or that kind of process and movement. So my idea is keep it as a slanting semi-cascade style, which I like as Shimpaku's. I just want to make sure it's not as, this is wrong. It's kind of wrong. It's telling a story that it's gone fallen over this one, then it's gone straight up. You want to continue that process. That's how I see this tree happening. So I'd like to get more movement into the tree, but I'm not going to bend it. It's just a purely planting angle change. Now here's how I would change the angle of this tree. I would turn this pot upside down and start to just position it how I like to see it. Now, how's that look on the camera? I might have to adjust the camera a little. Drop it down to eye level. By changing that, I've already actually made this starting to go more into below the 90 degrees. So if that was horizontal, now it's below it, which is great, which is what I was expecting. So maybe something like that as a starting angle, a starting point. Now, all this is wiring. My intent is to actually wire this into an apex, this part of the tree. I'll turn it slightly. This will be wired into an apex, moving in this direction, hopefully. And then I want to try and bend this branch right down into a semi-cascade branch, little apex with some side branching. Now this one is probably a bit of an issue because it's pretty straight and short and cut off. It looks very unattractive, so I might actually gin that off or get rid of totally. But really the key is to get this one down and this one into a position. I've got some nice back branching I can use as another bit of a cascade branch. That's the plan. We'll see how it looks in this case, but if I turn it around the other side, again a nice tree with a small cascade branch and a small apex, but we lose all the best feature of the tree, which is the stronger part of the tree, which is probably a more interesting to use. So that's why I will go with this side as the new front. So I'm just going to go away and wire this tree up, and we'll see how it looks when I start to wire it and position it in place. So I've put a gauge of 4mm wire on the apex and the cascading branch, and I've also wired the back and sub branch into here. I haven't wired this thicker branch in here just yet. I want to see how I go positioning these trees. So I'm going to see if I can bend this cascade one down to see how far I can get it down. So I'm just going to take my time, slowly bend it. Now I have wired it in the direction that I want to bend it. So when the wire comes underneath, the pointing direction is the way you can bend it. So I make sure that the wire here is finishing pointing at me. Does that make sense? So when it's thicker wire, thicker branches, I like to try and achieve that look. It's coming down really easily, really well. And creating a lovely little semi-cascade branch. The good news is I can use this branch here to kind of disguise this big bend in here. and it should just sit nicely in a really nice position right here. Well, after I've fully wired it, that is. I'll have to wire all the sub-branching. But I've easily been able to bend that was upright up here into a nice bendy, twisted, coming towards me, semi-cascade branch. Now all I do is add this. Should be able to just twist this right around. Bring it all the way around. Again, wide it. This pointy bit at the moment underneath is pointing at me, so I can easily wire it towards me. So I can just get some movement into that straight part. Now it's kind of looking rough just for now, but we can actually see some sort of structure now moving in that direction. Hang on, let's get that right. There you go. So not much to see right now, but the structural wiring has made me at least enable me to bend those branches easily that way. Have a cascading branch down here that we can work on. Little sub one in here, and then creating an apex in here with some back branching. Really nice little structurally wide tree. Might get that one in going in that direction as well, but there needs to be some sort of reduction. So first things first, I definitely want to remove this branch in here. Even if it's actual gin, I'll leave a little stub for now, but there's no need for it. It's just not going to work in that spot. I'll leave a little stub in case I want to gin it later, but you know, just thinning out a little few areas here and there is important, so at least we got some sort of structure. Now we're just going to do some structural wiring, finalize the wiring on this tree. There really isn't a huge amount of work to do. It's just having the right, and then positioning the tree in the correct angle I want it to be on, having this maybe come forward a little bit more, and just working on all wiring and so on. So I'm going to go and wire this tree now, reduce the areas that need to be reduced, and hopefully we've got a good tree in the end. Okay, so here's where I'm at after I've finished wiring the first main branch down here. So you can see that I've made it, I'll hopefully try and show you, but I made a couple of layers. There's one little one higher up, that was that branch that was a bit higher. The cascade branch comes down, forming a lower layer down here, and I've started to create another smaller layer inside, a bit more higher up, so that there's multiple layers throughout the tree. Pretty straightforward. It's just wiring. So just wire, that's all you can really do, and start to set the pads, which I've shown you lots of times in the past. Really creating pads and trying to make it really clean underneath. Bit of tweaking still to do. I'm just wiring the back now. It's a little bit messy, but I'm just going to wire the back and shorten it a little bit before I wire the fully apex and put it in there. So hopefully you guys can see how I've come up with this idea and why I think it's going to actually look quite nice. Kind of quite a nice little tree. Doesn't have to be upright. Nice slanting style or semi-cascade style. So it's looking good. Alright, so what I've done is fully wired the back, this branch, and I've actually positioned those branches. Now I've wired the apex, but I haven't put it in place. So I get a lot of requests about how to do the apexes on trees, and this is my approach. So I really use all the branching. I don't like to just have one branch and create a new, like a zigzag and at the top and regrow the whole thing. You've got so much branching here, you can create a proper apex, like a helmet almost, but make it obviously look realistic too. So really it's just, hopefully I don't get my hands in the way when I do this, but considering I've wired everything, I just start getting the first branch right down where I want it. So once you get this set, I do anything that's going down, I try and pluck as well. So it's just positioning these guys all the way around. So really it's just wiring, guys. So once you start wiring, you start to position. If any branches are not in the right spot, just pluck them out. Remember, you can pluck at the base, not the tip. Going downwards, take them out. So kind of putting a nice little first little bit in here as a starting point. Anything downwards, I can get rid of. Now I do like to try and put stuff in the front, try and make it actually has to be the whole dimensions. Also you need back branches. Got a couple good ones in here as well. I might have to use that later. So we start to go up the tree now. We're getting a bit further up, so we really want to. So we've got a first kind of layer in here. Now I'm trying to get that going across the camera. Yeah, try and get some movement. Try and create another pad in here. So I'm going backwards to shorten the branch and then bringing forwards, trying to create. Now I've got a bit of back branching and side branching happening. Now it's a matter of, let's see, this one will probably just sit nicely in here. These two should just come in, and then we might lie a little bit this way so I can create some sort of bit of padding on this side too, just so it's not just one-sided, it's a little bit more triangular in here. So just in there. I think I have to get him round, the back one a bit more round. Into there. So it's a bit of playing around once you start positioning. And then I've got, this is probably the apex that's going to sit in here. So it's just a matter of, I want to get in the way, bringing it around. I'm going to have to wire these sub branches, but at least you get the idea of how I try and create this. So with that, these are still need to be wide, but you can see now I've created a helmetish kind of look, a little bit of a helmet, but I don't want to call it a helmet. It's more of a proper apex, a full rounded apex. If that makes sense. I'll wire these up and I'll show you what it looks like as a final product. Alright, so here's what it kind of looks like after the styling we've done it to it. Really cute little tree now. I really like it. I think maybe the back's a little bit still long, but I'll have another look at that. But overall, it's come up really nice. Beautiful, nice branch, cascading branch we've got. Some nice padding inside everywhere. Created a nice little apex already. This just needs to fill out, create more layers and so on. When it fills out a bit more. All these now are nice layers of pads that can just be developed over time. So just needs a new planting angle. I think it's just about there, something like that. Looks quite nice at that angle. Nice. This pot's fine for it, but just got to change the angle of it. It goes backwards a little, which is good, and then comes around, which is good as well. So not a bad shape all around. Hope you guys can see that pretty well. Yeah, I might just to reduce this. What I normally do, reduce the length, is bring it back and around, so it just reduces it. So if you wire it back on itself, just reduces the length. So it just reduces. I think it's just a bit too long. Maybe we'll give it a little trim. But yeah, that's the only real thing last to do. But otherwise, nice little tree. Hopefully I got the right angle for you. There you go. Alright guys, that's how you transform a little Shimpaku that looked like had lots of straight paths into much more interesting, following the movement of the trunk. Remember, this was actually a nice big bend and then it was all straight. It doesn't make sense. Now it actually flows this way, and then flows this way, and then this flows and flows. So really nice movement overall on the tree now. Much more interesting tree than an upright, I think. But there you go. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon.